There are battles you never choose, yet they choose you. They arrive in the quietest moments, like shadows that stretch across your path without warning. Tell me, have you felt it? The moment you rise, even slightly financially or spiritually, suddenly the air changes. Friends who once celebrated your progress now fall silent. Family members who embraced you begin to criticize. Colleagues who laughed with you start whispering as though your light threatens their comfort. It is not coincidence. It is the silent battlefield of money and spirit, where unseen forces collide with your daily survival. Imagine a single coin resting in your hand. Cold, metallic, almost insignificant. Yet within that coin exists the same pattern that rules empires, markets, fortunes. This coin is not just currency. It is a symbol, a ritual key, a mirror of your belief. And tonight, it has found its way to you, not by chance, but because something in your soul called it forth. Stay with me, for this is no ordinary message. You were not led here by accident. You know the weight of bills piling on your table, the rent unpaid, the credit card that screams with overdue balances. You know the taste of anxiety, bitter like coffee left too long to burn, when you wonder if the next paycheck will stretch enough to cover both food and medicine. You have walked through supermarkets with a calculator in your pocket, praying the numbers don't betray you at the register. This is not just economics. It is a chain of iron pressing against your chest. It is water turning murky when you reach for clarity. It is stone against a river current, refusing to let you flow. But listen carefully. I once spoke with a man drowning in debt. His salary vanished like smoke the moment it arrived. He could not explain why every opportunity collapsed. Then one night, he took a single coin, placed it in a glass of water, and whispered, "Wealth flows. Dollars come. Abundance is mine." Within 48 hours, an old employer contacted him with unexpected payment. The chain began to break. Was it magic? Or was it the invisible law finally hearing his voice? Florence Scovel taught that words are not mere sounds. They are codes that shape reality. Neville Goddard revealed that imagination itself creates. And Carl Jung hinted that when you awaken what was buried within, you disturb hidden forces around you. Your financial life is not numbers alone. It is energy, thought, word, symbol. That coin in your pocket, it carries memory, vibration, destiny. So let us begin. Take a breath, touch the coin or a dollar note, and say aloud, "I am not chasing money. I am money. I am prosperity walking." Feel it pulse through your hand like a secret current reawakening in your veins. For prosperity is not outside you. It is already you. Stay with me. We are not finished yet. The ritual of release begins in the next step. Have you ever noticed how money slips through your fingers like sand? No matter how tightly you try to hold it, you budget, you sacrifice, you work double shifts, yet when the bills come, the rent, the credit card, the grocery list, it feels as though an invisible hand is erasing your progress. You are not lazy. You are not foolish. But the system seems coded against you, as if each dollar arrives already carrying a silent expiration date. Why is this? The truth is hidden beneath the surface. These are not merely numbers. They are energetic contracts, unconscious agreements written into your financial life long before you were aware. Close your eyes and picture a cup of water. Clear, refreshing, waiting to nourish. But imagine a single drop of ink falling inside. It spreads, turning the purity murky. That ink is doubt, fear, shame, and the unspoken curses of those who resent your growth. Each time you rise, another drop falls, clouding the flow. This is why paychecks vanish, why opportunities collapse at the last minute, why you wake at night with a stone of anxiety in your chest. This water is your financial field, and until you cleanse it, every sip carries resistance. A woman once told me her story. She lived with overdue rent for months, threatened by eviction, her children asking why there was no food in the fridge. She tried everything: extra jobs, loans, pleas for help, yet nothing worked. One evening, she remembered her grandmother's words: place salt in the corners of your room and watch what leaves. She obeyed. That night, she put a pinch of salt in each corner, then placed a dollar bill under her pillow and declared, "I am the vessel of abundance." Within 72 hours, her landlord called, not to evict her, but to say a charity fund had unexpectedly covered 2 months' rent. Was it coincidence? Or the code activated at last? These testimonies reveal something profound. Money is not neutral. It responds. It listens. It carries the frequency of your words and the imprint of your rituals. This is why Florence Scovel said, "Your word is your wand." It is not superstition. It is law. The same way gravity pulls, your spoken word pulls prosperity or repels it. And when paired with objects, a coin, a note, salt, water, it becomes ritual, a key that unlocks what was once chained. Understand this. You do not need to create prosperity. You already are prosperity. You are not begging life to give you something foreign. You are commanding what has always been yours to return. But you must cleanse the ink from the water. You must break the unconscious contracts of scarcity. And that begins with small actions of faith, symbolic yet powerful. So tonight, I ask you, will you dare to see your unpaid bills not as punishments, but as mirrors revealing your inner codes? Will you dare to touch the chain of iron around your chest and declare it broken? Because the moment you shift within, the outer world bends. Stay with me. The next step will reveal the 7 barriers that secretly block your prosperity and how each one can be dismantled. You wonder why prosperity delays, why every door seems to close just as your hand reaches for the handle, why success tastes like smoke. You see it, you almost inhale it, but then it vanishes. The answer lies in the barriers, ancient and silent, hidden inside your own field. These are not enemies outside you. They are agreements within you. 7 barriers, 7 locks on the door of abundance. Until you face them, every dollar will arrive wounded, every opportunity broken. The first barrier is doubt. Doubt whispers, "What if this does not work?" It is a small shadow, but once planted, it poisons the soil of faith. Without faith, the code cannot activate. The second is ridicule. You fear others laughing at your rituals, mocking your prayers, dismissing your mantras as foolish. But remember, ridicule is the defense of the blind. Those who mock cannot see the unseen currents. The third is logic. Yes, logic is useful in daily life, but when worshipped as a god, it becomes a prison. Logic says, how can a coin in water bring money? Yet it cannot explain why you dream of someone and they call the next day. Logic has borders. Spirit has none. The fourth is comparison. You measure your life against another's wealth, another's house, another's career. Comparison whispers that you are late, that you are small, that you are behind. But prosperity is not a race. It is a rhythm. Your time is exact, never early, never late. The fifth is impatience. You sow the seed and dig it up the next day to see if it grows. Prosperity requires trust in time. If you rush the code, you cancel the harvest. The sixth is the final test. This is when everything seems darkest just before breakthrough. Bills double, opportunities vanish, rejection multiplies. It is not punishment, it is proof. The universe asks, will you stand even now? And the seventh is fear. Fear is the oldest gatekeeper. It freezes your hand, silences your word, blinds your vision. Fear is the enemy of declaration. When fear rules, wealth flees. I once spoke with a man who faced all seven. He laughed at the rituals, doubted their power, compared his life endlessly, and gave up when his prayers did not deliver in 1 week. Then, one night, he decided to surrender. He placed $1 on his mirror, looked into his eyes, and said, "Wealth is my nature. Prosperity is my destiny." He repeated it daily, ignoring ridicule, pushing through doubt. Within a month, a business partner returned with money owed for years. Coincidence or barrier broken? Remember this, you are not fighting against money. You are fighting against the locks inside you. Doubt, ridicule, logic, comparison, impatience, final test, fear. When you name them, you weaken them. When you defy them, you disarm them. Take this moment to speak aloud. No barrier holds me. No gate restrains me. I walk free. Feel the iron loosen, the chain begin to fall. Stay with me, for in the next step, I will show you the amplifiers, rituals that multiply the current once the barriers are broken. Why does money seem to arrive late? Why does prosperity feel like a guest who never shows up when invited, but knocks on your door when you have already given up? The secret lies in the time of spirit. You see, financial energy does not obey the clock on your wall or the calendar in your phone. It obeys an invisible rhythm, one older than nations, markets, or banks. It moves in precision, exact and deliberate. Its law is simple. Never early, never late, always exact. Picture a candle flame. It flickers, sometimes strong, sometimes small, but always steady. If you try to force it to grow, you snuff it out. If you panic when it dims, you miss its glow. Prosperity is the same. It is not absent. It is aligning. The dollar you pray for, the rent you beg to cover, the opportunity you wait for. It is already written, but it comes at the precise moment when your spirit and your field can sustain it. Too soon, and you would lose it. Too late, and it would not serve. Spirit knows the exact hour. A woman once told me she prayed for money to buy her child's medicine. The need was urgent, desperate. She lit a candle, held a coin in her palm, and said, "Never early, never late, always exact." Hours passed. Fear gripped her. She almost surrendered to despair. Then, before the pharmacy closed, a neighbor appeared at her door with an envelope. "I don't know why," he said, "but I felt I had to give this to you." Inside was enough for the medicine and more. Coincidence or the precise rhythm of spirit? You must understand, financial flow is not random. It is not chaos. It is choreography. Each bill, each payment, each unexpected dollar follows, timing woven into the fabric of your destiny. The rent that was covered at the last hour, the job call that came the moment you considered quitting, the deposit that appeared just before the account turned empty. These are not accidents. They are proofs of the law. Florence Scovel once said, "Infinite spirit is never too late." Neville Goddard reminded us that assumption hardens into fact, but only when allowed to ripen in its season. Carl Jung revealed that synchronicity is not luck, but alignment. Your financial life is not broken. It is being tuned like strings on an instrument. So when you face delay, Do not curse the clock. Do not declare failure. Instead, breathe deeply and repeat. Never early, never late, always exact. Place your hand on a dollar, on a coin, on your chest. Say it again until you feel the anxiety loosen, until the chain unclamps. Time is not your enemy. Time is your ally. You are not abandoned. You are aligned. And the proof of this timing will appear if you dare to hold faith until the very edge. Stay with me, because in the next step we will face the resistance directly. The voices, the doubts, the fears that try to break you just before prosperity arrives. When prosperity is about to arrive, resistance rises like a storm. Have you noticed it? Just before a breakthrough, the shadows grow louder. You declare wealth, and suddenly a bill doubles. You repeat a mantra, and suddenly a friend mocks you. You prepare for abundance, and suddenly fear whispers that you are foolish. This is no accident. Resistance is the guardian of the threshold. It appears not to destroy you, but to test whether your faith is stronger than your fear. The first resistance is the voice of logic. It cannot be this simple. A coin, a word, a ritual. How can that change anything? Yet is it not true that a small key opens a massive door? That a drop of ink changes the color of a river? Simplicity is not weakness. It is divine precision. The second resistance is the voice of ridicule. They will laugh at you. They will call you crazy. But ridicule has always greeted pioneers. Every prophet, every visionary, every inventor was mocked before being honored. What they laugh at today, they will envy tomorrow. The third resistance is the voice of delay. It has been days, weeks. Nothing has changed. Yet the seed planted in soil does not sprout overnight. The farmer does not dig it up to check its progress. Delay is not denial. Delay is the hidden proof that the roots are forming beneath the surface. The fourth resistance is the voice of fear. What if it never comes? What if I am abandoned? Fear is the loudest liar. It thrives in silence, convincing you that absence means rejection. But remember this law: spirit is never absent. Spirit is never late. A man once shared his story with me. He had lost his job, his rent was due, and he sat in darkness, electricity cut off. He had tried rituals before, but now, hopeless, he mocked himself for believing. Then, with trembling hands, he lit a candle and whispered, "I am not abandoned. Prosperity walks toward me." For 2 nights, nothing changed. On the third, his former colleague called, offering a contract that paid enough to restore light, food, and dignity. He confessed later, "The moment I almost quit was the moment it was already on the way." This is the mystery. Resistance screams the loudest just before the miracle arrives. It is the darkness before dawn, the silence before the symphony begins. You must learn to recognize these voices not as truth, but as the final test. So when logic argues, when ridicule bites, when delay mocks, when fear paralyzes, answer with authority. Place your hand on your heart and declare, "I will not bow to resistance. I am wealth. I am flow. I am the rhythm of abundance." Speak until the voices grow silent, until the storm begins to calm. Do not be fooled. The resistance does not mean absence. It means you are close, closer than you have ever been. Stay with me, for in the next step, I will give you the amplifiers, rituals to multiply and accelerate prosperity beyond the barriers and resistances you have faced. When the barriers weaken and the resistances grow silent, you may wonder, how do I accelerate the current? How do I multiply the flow of prosperity so it does not arrive as drops, but as a river? This is where the amplifiers appear. Rituals not to replace your faith, but to strengthen it. Keys not to force the door, but to swing it wide open. The first amplifier is the coin in water. Take a single coin, place it gently in a glass of clear water, and whisper, "Wealth flows. Dollars come. Abundance is mine." Watch as the coin rests at the bottom, silent yet alive, like a seed planted in soil. Drink from the glass after 24 hours, knowing that what entered as symbol now flows through your body. The second amplifier is the note on the mirror. Place a dollar bill where you see your own reflection. Look into your eyes and declare, "I am prosperity walking. Wealth recognizes me." Each morning and night, see not just your face, but your identity as abundance itself. Over time, your subconscious accepts this as truth, bending reality to match. The third amplifier is the circle of gratitude. Take 7 coins and place them in a circle on your table. In the center, light a candle. Speak aloud 7 things you are grateful for, even if they are small: a meal, a kind word, the breath in your lungs. Gratitude multiplies what it touches. By surrounding the flame with coins, you are teaching your field to attract more of what you honor. The fourth amplifier is the altar of the dollar. Choose a place in your home, no matter how humble, and dedicate it. Place a single dollar, a coin, or a note upon it. Light beside it a candle, and pour beside it a small cup of coffee or water. These offerings are not to money itself, but to the spirit of flow, the rhythm of abundance. As you keep this altar, your life becomes a magnet, drawing in unexpected provision. One woman once told me she lived paycheck to paycheck, never a dollar left over. She tried the mirror ritual, placing a bill where her reflection lived. For weeks, she repeated, "Wealth is my nature. Prosperity is my destiny." At first, nothing happened, but then her supervisor offered her a raise, unrequested. "I saw how you worked," he said. "You deserve more." She confessed to me, "The mirror did not change him. It changed me. And when I changed, reality followed." This is the law of amplifiers. They are not superstition. They are signals to the unseen, proof to your own spirit that you are ready. They multiply faith, expand flow, accelerate manifestation. So take your coin, your dollar, your candle, your circle of gratitude. Whisper the mantra with authority. "Wealth is my nature. Prosperity is my destiny." Say it 3 times and feel the current rise. Stay with me, for in the next step, I will show you the signs and proofs, how to recognize the first whispers of prosperity before the great wave arrives. How will you know when the code begins to work? How can you recognize the first whispers of prosperity before the flood arrives? Spirit is merciful. It gives signs small but precise, so that you do not lose faith. These signs are like sparks before the fire, drops before the storm, whispers before the symphony begins. If you ignore them, you risk doubting the process. But if you honor them, they multiply. The first sign is the found coin. You may walk down a street and notice a coin glimmering on the ground. Do not dismiss it as trivial. That coin is a messenger, a signal from the invisible that the flow has opened. Pick it up, hold it, and whisper, "Abundance recognizes me." The second sign is the unexpected word. Someone may mention money in a casual conversation. An opportunity, a raise, an idea, even a joke. Spirit uses language to echo what is coming. Pay attention to repeated words, to patterns that seem to follow you. They are not coincidences. They are confirmations. The third sign is the dream of money. Perhaps you see dollar notes, coins, or treasures in your sleep. Dreams are the language of the unconscious, and when money appears, it signals that your inner field has shifted. The outer manifestation is near. The fourth sign is the small increase. You open your bank account and find a few dollars more than expected. A discount arrives on a bill. A forgotten refund appears. This is the first ripple of the river, proof that the larger wave is on its way. A man once told me he had performed the water ritual with a coin. For 2 days, nothing changed. On the third day, he found a quarter in the parking lot. He laughed bitterly, saying, "What good is this?" But instead of dismissing it, he held it and declared, "This is proof." The next day, his bank notified him of an unexpected deposit, money from a delayed tax return he had forgotten. The coin was the whisper, he said. The deposit was the echo. Remember this: Spirit always gives you a preview, but many ignore it, waiting only for the grand miracle. Yet if you do not honor the whisper, how will you embrace the shout? Every coin, every phrase, every dream, every unexpected increase is a sign that the code is active. Celebrate it. Speak gratitude over it. Multiply its energy with your words. Say aloud now, "I honor the signs. I welcome the proofs. I walk in gratitude before the wave arrives." Speak this until your spirit feels lighter, until your chest releases its iron chain. For the greatest wave always begins with the smallest ripple. Stay with me, for in the next step, we will move to the seal of power, the final word that closes the ritual and makes abundance irreversible. Every ritual, every prayer, every declaration needs a seal. Without a seal, energy can scatter. Without a seal, the door you opened can drift ajar. But when you seal, the code locks into reality. The invisible becomes irreversible. This is why ancient traditions ended with sacred words, why prophets spoke a final decree, why mystics always closed with power. For prosperity, the seal is not a whisper, it is thunder. The seal is this: it is finished, it is done, and it cannot be otherwise. These words are not wishes, they are finalities. When spoken with authority, they collapse doubt, silence fear, and command reality. They are the hammer striking the bell, the stamp closing the decree, the fire branding truth into the air. Take a dollar, a coin, or even place your hand upon your chest. Speak with calm authority. It is finished, it is done, and it cannot be otherwise. Feel the vibration in your voice, the certainty in your bones. Repeat it 3 times, for repetition engraves it into the subconscious and echoes into the unseen. Once, a woman burdened with debts used this seal. She had prayed, she had performed rituals, but fear lingered. Then she stood before her mirror, held a coin, and declared, "It is finished, it is done, and it cannot be otherwise." The first time, her voice trembled. The second, it grew firmer. The third, it thundered like prophecy. The next week, she received a letter. Her largest debt had been canceled due to an administrative error. The seal, she said, closed the cycle. Understand, when you seal, you stop asking. You stop begging. You no longer treat prosperity as a stranger who may or may not come. You claim it as a resident already within your home. The seal is not for spirit. It is for you, so your mind stops circling, your heart stops doubting, your energy stops leaking. Florence Scovel taught that words spoken with finality override even appearances. Neville Goddard reminded us that assumption sustained creates fact. And Jung knew that symbols sealed in ritual awaken deep layers of psyche. When you say, "It is finished," you align with these laws. So tonight, before you sleep, light a candle, place a coin or dollar beside it, and seal your declaration 3 times aloud. It is finished. It is done. And it cannot be otherwise. Speak slowly. Let each word engrave itself upon your breath. Then extinguish the candle, knowing the work is sealed. From that moment, you no longer chase. You no longer plead. You walk as if wealth already follows you, because it does. Stay with me, for in the final step, I will give you the identity of prosperity itself, the declaration that transforms you into a natural receiver, where money must always find you. You have walked through the shadows of resistance, faced the 7 barriers, cleansed the murky waters, and sealed the word with finality. Now comes the final revelation, not just to call money, but to become the embodiment of prosperity itself. For wealth is not a visitor. It is not a guest who comes and goes. It is a resident of your being. To end this journey, you must claim the deepest identity. I am a natural receiver. Money always finds me. Say it now, not as a question, not as hope, but as law. Whisper first, I am a natural receiver. Feel the words settle into your chest like roots gripping the earth. Then louder, money always finds me. Speak it as though the universe bends to your voice. Repeat it again until it no longer feels like words, but like truth vibrating through your bones. I once heard the testimony of a man who carried this identity. For years, he struggled. Each month, his bills strangled him. One evening, after sealing with the sacred phrase, he declared for the first time, I am a natural receiver. Money always finds me. Within 2 days, he found a forgotten check in his mailbox, an overpayment refund he had no memory of. He laughed and cried, not because of the amount, but because reality had echoed his new identity. The check was small, but the code was confirmed. Understand this. When you take on this identity, you stop chasing and start attracting. Chasing is desperation. Attracting is nature. You do not strain to breathe. Air flows naturally. In the same way, prosperity must flow to you, not because you force it, but because it is who you are. Now, repeat the seal once more to close this sacred space. It is finished. It is done. And it cannot be otherwise. Say it 3 times. Then declare with authority, I am a natural receiver. Money always finds me. Let these 2 forces merge, the finality of the seal and the truth of your identity. Together, they carve a new path in your life, a rhythm where scarcity has no throne. And now I ask you, in the next 48 hours, watch closely. Signs will come, dreams, coins, deposits, words of opportunity. When they appear, honor them. Comment your testimony, so the code may strengthen in others as it has in you. Speak your 3 words below. I am ready. Claim your space among those who walk in abundance. If this word has touched you, subscribe now, join this channel's circle, and give thanks in the way your spirit feels moved. Every act of gratitude is an amplifier, every testimony a torch for others still lost in the dark. So we close not with farewell, but with finality. Speak it one last time with me. It is finished, it is done, and it cannot be otherwise. And seal it with the eternal decree, I am a natural receiver. Money always finds me. And so it is.